up there we could talk to?
No, now go away or I shall taunt you a second time.
And now for something completely different. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be taking a look at the history of Monty Python. This British comedy troupe formally introduced themselves to audiences in October 1969 with the BBC program Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Good evening.
The six-man team included comedians of numerous talents and skills. Graham Chapman was the ultimate straight man. Eric Idle dedicated himself to naughty and deceitful characters. Terry Jones shined as an outrageous female impersonator or upper-class gentleman. Terry Gilliam created the group's animation. Michael Palin proved popular for his wide range and energy, and John Cleese perfected deadpan delivery and slapstick comedy. Various stories surfaced as to the significance of the title Monty Python's Flying Circus. However, the only confirmed fact was that the team chose it because it sounded funny. Other theories suggested Monty was a nod to a famous British army man, and that Monty Python sounded like the name of a seedy agent. Flying Circus was written and performed by the troupe, and completely turned the existing sketch show setup on its ear with a surreal stream of consciousness style.
Perhaps we need to know more of these mice men before we can really judge them. Perhaps not. Anyway, our 30 minutes are up. Good night.
Laughs were generated by the use of narrators, observation, monologues, and more.
And now for something completely different. A man with 3 buttocks.
The group often chose not to end their sketches with a punchline and instead let them end abruptly or blend together.
There we are leaving the epilogue for the moment. We'll be bringing you the result of this discussion later on in the program.
These shifts were accompanied by Gilliam's surreal stop-motion animations. Flying Circus sometimes used a cold open, where the program started without a formal introduction. It was also common for pythons to break the fourth wall by addressing the camera.
Hello again. I am at present still on film, but in a few seconds I should be appearing in the studio. Thank you.
Hello.
To ensure laughs, the cast cross-dressed on multiple occasions and even went so far as to play women impersonating men. A few of the show's most beloved and oft-quoted sketches included Spam,
I don't like spam!
Dead Parrot,
This parrot is no more!
Nudge Nudge,
Out of me, nudge, nudge, say no more.
and the Lumberjack song.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night, I work all day.
When writing the show, the Pythons mostly worked in pairs. Chapman and Cleese teamed up, while Jones and Palin wrote together. Idle worked alone. The entire group eventually met up to review sketches, critique, and exchange ideas. Fortunately, they never fought over roles in the sketches, as they considered themselves writers rather than performers. During Flying Circus's run, the Pythons released their first film in 1971.
And now for something completely different.
And now for something completely different, featured low-budget reshoots of sketches that appeared on the show, and was meant to introduce them to an American audience. While that was largely ignored overseas, it was their 1974 feature, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, that broke new ground. In that picture, the group embarked on a medieval romp that followed the mythical tale of King Arthur and the quest for the Cup of Christ.
Look! It's just a flesh wound.
Later that year, Flying Circus wrapped. By this point, the Pythons believed the show had lost its freshness and originality. Meanwhile, the series production company decided against making an American version of the show due to the difficulties associated with translating British humor for that audience. However, when reruns began showing stateside, the Pythons attracted countless new fans and sparked a deep American interest in British content. Following that, the group continued to thrill fans around the world with the 1979 film Life of Brian.
Oh, you lucky bastard.
Their 1982 concert feature Live at the Hollywood Bowl, and 1983's The Meaning of Life.
It is the most elusive fish, and it went wherever I did go.
This final film was the last major project all the Pythons collaborated on, and it was meant to offend as many people as possible. Most group members then pursued solo careers. John Cleese proved most successful in his post-Python career with numerous film and television appearances. These included the ultra-popular BBC series Fawlty Towers. Terry Gilliam began a thriving directorial career, while Idle, Palin, and Jones also did well in front of and behind the camera. Graham Chapman passed away in 1989, and this hampered the possibility of a reunion. During their various endeavors, Python became a cultural phenomenon and one of the most beloved pieces of entertainment Britain ever produced, to the point where they're considered the comedy equivalent of the Beatles. They spawned touring stage shows, albums, charitable projects, books, and a Broadway musical. Monty Python continues to make us laugh with risque and observational humor that pokes fun at the idiosyncrasies of British culture.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
I mean, what's it all about?
Beats me.